All right, it worked. Let's go. Bitcoin is testing the grand line for you One Piece fans. The grand, dang, we'll go with bad allergies. The grand bear market support line or trend. This is a trend line that goes all the way back to 2017, and we have seen every single bear market test this line since then. It has found support on the last tests, and here we are again today, in this moment. In the last few hours, back at this trend line. And what does that mean for crypto? We're going to find out. We're going to jump into it. Whew. Things are getting tight. Appreciate you tuning in. We're just starting it up here. I'm going to stop coughing at some point. Make sure you hit the like button, tap the screen, subscribe, follow, share, chat, vote, do a little dance, make a little love, just all kinds of things. Make sure you engage with the live stream. Let the algorithms know you're having a good time and you like the content. Let me know if there's anything goofy. We're doing I tried something new with the stream. There's a dual stream feature going on. Hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. You need support? We all need support. Take a deep breath. Bitcoin is going to be okay. Might not be okay today, but it's going to be okay, guys. We've gone through this time and time again, and we find ourselves back here one more time. Hopefully the last time. Hopefully the next time we'll all be on our super secret rich people islands. Nope, not islands. Whoa, that aged badly. Super secret rich people castles, and not in the trenches worrying about these red candles. Okay, so this line is important. It is major. Is it going to bounce price and bring us into a bull market like it did on the last two tests? Man, I hope so. But I don't think I'm going to bet on it. I don't think I'm going to go all in long here praying this works. It does look great on the chart. It is a reason. It is an opportunity in time that Bitcoin may choose to take another path, to diverge from the path that it seems we're on. Another, 6 months of bear market, 5 months of bear market. It seems almost impossible that we would bottom now at Q4 if everyone thinks we're going to bottom at Q4. If everyone's waiting to bottom and to buy in at Q4, I don't know. It seems hard. If it isn't going to happen, I think this is the time. I don't want to put the probability of that being so great, but let's look at it. This trend line is a real trend line. It's not a vaguely placed, sloppily placed to prove a point trend line. This is a precise setting, a precise placement. Ooh, I have that chat box on. I didn't mean that. Precise placement. You can do this too. If you want to go down to the daily time frame on the Coinbase chart, enable your magnet tool so that you can snap it on. Here you are. The 16th of July 2017 and the 15th of December 2018, connect those with the trend line or array, and what you'll find is a very supportive line, something that's held us up through crashes, through the hardest of times. Now, many of you like to point out that it did break here in March of 2020. Lots of things broke in March of 2020. Oil traded to negative dollars per barrel. People thought the world was going to end. We spent the next years sitting inside. The whole world changed. But this trend line actually still held, and you can find that here on the weekly candles. Despite 2 weeks trading below, support was found. Price moved back up, closed above the trend line. That shows that buyers were interested at that price, interested at this, whatever you want to call it, the grand trend line. It held here through COVID, and even the FTX cascading doom scenario for crypto found support at this exact level. Down at 15.5, buyers came in once again, almost as if they were looking at this trend line. The bear market found a bottom, and we went on to a semi-exciting few years of Bitcoin rallying into a bull market. In February, we dumped down to 60,000, and we have not actually traded lower yet on Bitcoin. However, this trend line has accelerated and moved up so much that it has now met price at about 66, 65,000. I would love for this trend line to bounce price and for us to head back to all-time highs, catch all the bears off guard, teach them a lesson, get wrecked. But we have to exist in the realm of reality. And the realm of reality is that is not the likely scenario. Perhaps if we do see a bounce here and price can retake the 200-day moving average at about 70 something K, we can get into that. We can talk about that. But for now, let's stay with the probable move. And that is that despite a bounce maybe coming here, whether it's here or a little bit lower, down at the 200-week moving average, it's about 61, 62K. Odds are that we have some more time, a little more winter ahead of us coming, a little more downside. And so what I think is the most probable outcome with this trend is that we see some kind of buying here, whether it's here at the 200, and we lose the trend line and we end up trading below and finding resistance there. Over the course of the 10 years I've been following Bitcoin's chart, the 7 years as of June 1st that we've been live streaming, there's been many trends that were kind of like this. None exactly like this, I'll say. None perfectly fit quite so well. But there have been major trend lines that have existed and acted in charts, or in the charts, and held true for times, sometimes years, but almost all of them we've watched come and go. This is, honestly, it's probably the lowest, oldest trend line that like still exists and hasn't been invalidated on the chart. When I say there's been trends like this in the past that we followed, or I followed, something like this. Why is there a black friggin' box on the shorts? Or on the shorts, on the, okay, got it. On the TikTok stream, there we go. Like this trend line. This one went from basically the bear market in 2014 to really the start of the bull market in 17. This one held true for quite some time. It was broken November 2018 in the bear market. Found some resistance there, popped back above. We had some other ones along the way that I remember following and thinking, Bitcoin will forever stay above these trend lines, right? We all learn. Something like this from April to June of 17, we saw price remain above it for a long time. The long story short is, damn. What's going on? I woke up with like the worst sore throat and coughing this morning, so actually I'm doing pretty good. What's up, Test DNA Mobile? They said 70K was the bottom. Who said 70K was the bottom? Who said 70K was the bottom? That's kind of a crazy bold call. He said now 66, grand line gonna break, it's hitting 40. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. The grand line though is a fun thing to say. And so we're gonna take that. We need fun things to say when times are rough. The reality of these trends and all trend lines that will honestly ever exist on any chart is specifically in a logarithmic form. This Bitcoin chart is on the log chart. If we change it to the regular chart, things can be a little different. But on the logarithmic chart, any trend line will inevitably break. The reason is because a trend line on a logarithmic chart is, though it looks like a straight line, it's actually a curved line. It's a parabola. Things cannot remain exponential forever. It is maybe a law of the universe. It's just a fundamental law of the forces around us. Anything that remains exponential for too long just quickly approaches infinity. Like it just explodes too quickly. So there could be times where we see parabolic growth in things. Parabolic growth virtually always leads to collapse, and then on things that survive, they can go parabolic again and have that expansion phase one more time. So we need to be careful when we look at these things. As much as I want this to be the magical trend line that saves us, and maybe it could, as much as I want it to be, it's just not the best bet. You can see this line on the non-logarithmic chart is much farther down here. When this is a true trend, it's actually only down at 9,000. So we need to be careful, but there's, I don't know, it's interesting. It's something to look at. Without this trend line, we really don't have much here. we could say our weekly closes. We did find weekly support here multiple times in March. Found a here, March. We found a here at the end of March before moving to a higher high. That is being back tested at the same time. Let me refresh these chats. Then we have what, like the February low in the 200-week moving average. Like that's it. That's all we have. Below this, I think the numbers quickly get lower faster. The ones people are more comfortable with, I don't know, is a bear market bottom, like 50,000. Probably the next downside target if we do lose the 60K target. It's just, it's interesting. And the reason I like it and the reason I think it's worth at least exploring is this trend line has been tested. As we said, it is not the first time that this trend line has been put to the test and held. The more times we test any support, the more probable it is that it breaks on the next test, and that should be applied here as well. But you never know. Things do change. We do get curveballs and unexpected movements here all across the market realm. So it's something to keep an eye on. I certainly will be. We've been talking about it for a little bit as we approached it. I hope it holds. I hope we get to the moon. It is not looking so hot. There we go. The TikTok. So now we're streaming 2 different versions of the stream. Like on YouTube, it's a horizontal landscape normal stream, and on TikTok, it's like the phone resolution. And now all of a sudden, there's people in the chat on TikTok. Sweet. Maybe that was the secret. I think that's all we had to do. Was stream vertically. Nice. Streaming on Kick. I don't know if it's actually working though. To be determined. Unfortunately, Bitcoin has continued selling off today. Another about 1%. The rest of markets. Let me see. Micron. Jeez. The rest of markets opening higher, it looks like, but trading down about 0.5 on Micron there. SanDisk. Petition to rename it SanDisk. It's a much better name. Much better name. SanDisk up. Dell. Actually, Dell might be the interesting stock here today. With that massive gap open on Dell, we've seen retracement of this entire gap up. Looking at that $400 mark. Losing that $400 mark may look for support at 327. That's likely playable up into that $400 range. I like that. I like this trade. I did open a little more. I opened a little more short on the corn, unfortunately. I did it because the more I short Bitcoin, the more it seems to go up. So I'm doing it for you guys. I'll show you that in a minute. Subscribe. Caspa's pumping. Is Caspa pumping the wise wizard? Who is selling Bitcoin? I don't know, man. Well, I guess strategy. Sailor sold some Bitcoin. Sailor sold 32 Bitcoin, and then everybody loses their mind, as they probably should lose their minds. But certainly the price action we're seeing has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. Palin-Star, filling its gap, giggity. But also coming down to test that descending high trend. I don't hate it. I hate this company, so I don't want to long it, but I don't know, 140, even right here, like 144, filling that gap, looking for maybe this trend line isn't quite placed right. Maybe we should put it here. That puts the trend line and that gap about the same price. Maybe that's a play. A bump and run, breaking of the trend, back testing a support, moving higher. They also moved more Bitcoin. Strategy moved more Bitcoin. Music to calm us? Yeah, we can put on some calming music. Don't you worry. I'll put on some calming music. Actually, I really do want some. I do want to play some music. Chris Dunn waiting for spring. Well, Bitcoin has historically been just nothing all summers. That's what everybody is expecting. You know, the crappy part, though, is that I have in the past been like, well, Bitcoin every summer is boring. So, like, everyone will expect it to be boring. So it'll be exciting this year. Like, I've said that before on our live stream For all of you guys joining us like on the different platforms, even people on YouTube, we have been live streaming 7 years trading crypto, dabbling in other markets as well. 7 years as of June 1st. Crazy, isn't it? Let me put on some copyright-free music. Gotta make sure we don't blast your speakers, though. Maybe a little loud. I have no idea what these songs are going to be. They're from a very old playlist. Let me know how the volume is. Oh yeah, getting into it. A little jazz, a little synthy. Beep, beep. I remember this song. But I've said it before, maybe it is. Like, it just seems impossible. This bear market sentiment and kind of maybe I'll say understanding of the cycle, of the 4-year cycle of crypto and Bitcoin, kind of puts it apart. Certainly sentiment soured very early based on just the knowledge of a 4-year cycle. In previous bear markets, that 4-year cycle was not as, let's say, like cemented. Certainly it was talked about, but it wasn't like as cemented as it is in our brains now. Pretty much everybody is like, well, it's the bear market. It's been the bear market since the high in October. And the bear market will end a year later around October, November of 2026. It is just like accepted fate now. In previous bear markets, there were people holding on to like hope that it really was just a fake out like the whole way down, and that's changed. It's going to be interesting. If Bitcoin is going to reverse and do something different, if it's going to break that cycle, unleash the chains, it's likely going to do it. I would say it's going to do it here. Oops. If it is going to do it. It's going to do it here or within like a 6-7% range. Like it is not going... I really don't think that we will see like 60K break and then something happen. I think that we'll see that begin early. Begin now. If it's going to happen, man. I'm holding on. Maybe I'm the one holding on to hope. Keeping everybody in the bear market. Why do I hate Palantir? I don't like the AI surveillance government stuff going on. Maybe Bitcoin will hit 200K next cycle too. God, I hope so. Many doors. I hope so, bro. You want to think January 25 was the all-time high, and October was just October all-time high was just it got cut off there, Chris. There are definitely arguments that the Bitcoin all-time high was not October. There are many charts that will steer you in a different direction. Bitcoin USD, it obviously was in October. If you go to like Bitcoin versus Dixie, which is just a different way of looking at it, the all-time high was September. That's not the one I was even looking for. September. You go to gold. Gold's was in December of 2024. Bitcoin versus gold, the all-time high, the bull market top was early December of 2024, which would put us 540 days out from the all-time high. I haven't looked at these in a while. Update the app? I don't want to update you right now. Stupid TradingView. You're such a great program. Stupid TradingView. Bitcoin versus the British pound. Okay, that was September of 25. That's not what I was looking for. BTC. Where's my one with all the fiats? BTC verse. I know I already had that one open. All right, well, I don't know. It's being a butt, so we'll do. We'll just make the charts instead of wasting time looking at them. What was it? Versus the euro. It's a very different chart, right? BTC versus euro, and this is true for a bunch of the fiat pairs. While it did top out at roughly the same time, it did, but it didn't. You know, this is that argument of January. It's like it just retested it. If you want to like factor in inflation or something, it's like the exact same high. It hit its high in January of 25. It retested it in October of 25, and then it fell. Ooh, Romeo and Juliet. The SPX. Bitcoin versus SPX, July of 25. Like, we get different peaks depending on what pair we're looking at. And we do tend to look at the dollar pair the most. But as time goes on, it probably will make less sense to look at the dollar pair. Originally in crypto, it made sense to look at the dollar pair because all of the trading volume was in the dollar. There was virtually zero other currencies traded. And when I say back in time, really, like 2017, Coinbase had 3 coins. They had Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Like, the space has changed. And while the dollar absolutely still dominates the volume, we do see things like, you can even say Tether is probably more volume now than the dollar. But those other fiats like GBP, Euro, like Swedish franc, krone, whatever, we see trading in these other pairs, and so the dollar's hegemony over the volume is slipping away slowly. Bitcoin dominance going down. Let's take a look. Let me set a bunch of alerts right here because we are living life on the edge. On the edge. Just a little bit lower, and I think we start to see it actually rip. Rip and rhyme down. That's what I was saying yesterday on our live. It's like Bitcoin just never makes any satisfying moves anymore. They're all like blue ball moves. It's like it just like trickles down. It just like it bleeds down and bleeds up. It doesn't do like crazy, I don't know, like 100% pumps in a day, like 50% dumps in a day. It just like does this. Bitcoin dominance. Back to the lows. Back to the lows, baby. I was saying this earlier about the grand line, the grand bear market support line. The more times you test a support, the weaker it becomes. Here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at 58.4 for Bitcoin dominance. These are like on monthly. This is a cross over. This is over a year of trading. Here we are back to the low. Being at the low, I don't think really suggests that much by itself right now. Breaking our low, especially back to September's low, and we are in an odd alt season. If Bitcoin is selling off, which is kind of the consensus that Bitcoin's going lower, and we see dominance fall, it will be the first time in my memory, I think it's the first time ever, that combination of events was happening, that we were having, I'll call it a stealth alt season. Because what will happen is alts like Ethereum is likely gaining even, nope, it's not. That's unusual. Ethereum's actually down against Bitcoin the last 48 hours. But what we expect to see in that setup is altcoins gaining against Bitcoin in value, like Ethereum did here, all right, in the start of June, still up for the month. But if Bitcoin is going down in dollar value, those altcoins are likely still going down in dollar value or perhaps trading sideways. An interesting example of just that right now is one of the only things that we've been bullish on for, I don't know, like a week or two. Hype USD. Hype USD has hit all-time high, and for like 4 days now, it's traded sideways at that all-time high. However, it is blasting against Bitcoin. Like blasting, dude. This was such a crazy call. In May, we saw this approaching its all-time high against Bitcoin, and we said if it retests it, or especially if it breaks it, we're going to see Hype retest its all-time high in dollar pair, and if not, continue higher. And I remember when I said it, I was like, which is just a weird thing to say. It feels weird saying it, because why would that happen? This is not a normal scenario. I don't know. The why, I guess, is not important as usual. It typically never is, because that's just what's happening. The chart said that's what's happening. Hype is gaining massively against Bitcoin, 126% since mid-May. And even though it's put on another 10 or 11% against Bitcoin, in the last 3 or 4 days, it hasn't actually really traded higher in dollar value. So this is the concept that I'm getting at that's going to be important if we do see Bitcoin USD sell-off and Bitcoin dominance sell-off. Again, for those just tuning in, that is a combination of macro crypto movements that we've never seen. Have we ever seen that? Throw it in reverse, baby. Have we ever seen that? I don't think we've ever seen that. Ever. Like, almost always. Almost always, yeah. 2021. Nope. Bitcoin dominance has always risen during bear markets. Always. It's not a very long sample size. But here we are. It is still too early to say Bitcoin dominance has broken down. It is not too early to say this is really ugly. This is brutal. This is bearish. You've reapproached support on Bitcoin dominance, and you are likely looking for that to continue. You're likely looking for it to break support here and continue lower. Likely. But it's still too early to say it's broken down, in my opinion. It has just remained in this range for so long. Like, I never would have guessed that. If you would have asked me if that would happen back in 2025, like July time, I'd have been like, no way. I was like, that's the only thing that won't happen. Like, Bitcoin dominance, that's the only thing that won't happen. It'll either keep blasting or it'll dump. And it has done nothing. An interesting look. Let's flip it over and take a different angle on this. Currency valuation can become greater importance. I think it's already at maximum importance. This might give us a little early sign. And it does tell a bit of a different story, but it's still similar. If we remove Tether dominance from Bitcoin dominance, basically we're just removing Tether, we get a little bit different of a story. It is still similar in the you're retesting a support that's been hammered already. You have a big sell-off. Bitcoin dominance just gave me a little alert. We're going to flip back to that. But that support is at like the low of the move. Bitcoin dominance has been moving down when you subtract Tether, just removing simply Tether. And I would guess if you, no, I know, if you would remove other stables, I'm just lazy. If you remove more stable coins in addition to Tether, this will look even more bearish. Since June of 2025, Bitcoin dominance has been in a downtrend if you remove Tether. Perhaps that's suggesting what the actual BTCD is going to do. No, it didn't. I don't know. It set off the alert, but it didn't actually do it. Bam, bam, bam. 30K is red. 30K, baby. I'll take 30K. Only ones left are the bag holders who think it's going anywhere. I mean, I still have some Ethereum left. I mean, I bought my Ethereum really low. I sold some Ethereum on the stream at 5K. Got very lucky on that one. I don't know. I'm not going to sell what I have of Ethereum here to try to rebuy it. I don't know. Like, get some lower price. Is it possible? It's probably a play that would work out. Yeah. And I think it is reasonable that Ethereum will go under 1800. But honestly, I'm just too lazy, I guess. I don't want the stress of that. I don't want to like monitor it. I don't want to, man. I got out some. Maybe what I should do is I should take what I sold at 5K and just place it as a limit order. I'll throw it. Maybe I'll just throw it in the order books for you guys. Help defend the price. But if I put it at 1200, will you hate me? 1200, will you guys hate me? At that 1200 is bad news bears. Honestly, what I really want to do, if I really want to put it at, is like 750. 740. The close of 2017. Those are some brutal numbers. I'll do it somewhere. What's up, Chris? Thanks for following, Chris. Appreciate you, brother. Holding that potential. How you doing, Hendrix? What's up, Dexum? You're back, baby. It's good to see you. You can dislike Ondo. Who dislikes Ondo? I don't have any feelings for Ondo. Let the trend be your friend? Well, let's hope that this trend is our friend. Certainly it will be to the end, because this is the end of the line. Like Bitcoin, this is the end of the line, baby. Altcoins have been shaken out. I think that that's reasonable. That's reasonable. But I still hear and see people like buying alts. It's definitely a different crowd. It's like a longer term crowd than it was over the last many years. But like the very, very, very few people who I see enter the space, which is like none, they still are not going for Bitcoin. I feel like they're still buying into alts, buying into like random bags and stuff. What's Ondo? Ondo recovered here, held the low. It continues its flag. Ondo continues flagging out. Could be worse. Maybe I won't get filled. Lower highs, higher lows. It's not a bad pattern. It's not a bad pattern to paint here after a nice little move up. Get your pole, looking for the flag. You'll be looking for the next resistance. 50, obviously a break. You'd have to get past 50 again. 60 cents. You got a long way to go. You got a long way to go to get back. I don't know anything about Ondo. What do any of these things do? More pain is required. I mean, I think that's what's getting served up. I think that's what's on the menu. Oh crap. I just had... What did I just have pulled up there? I saw something breaking support. Pretty sure it was a Bitcoin pair. We looked at Bitcoin versus the Dow Jones yesterday. I'll pull up 𝐂𝐴SMA for Wizard. I don't know if he's still here, but... Against the Dow Jones, and it is brutal. Where did that go? Or is it the NASDAQ? NASDAQ is just crazy, bro. All-time high, all-time high. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, this is it. This was it. Look at how crazy this is. Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ has like already done a full bear market retrace. It's... Oh no, wait. I didn't pull that. TradingView scamming me again. Okay, not quite a full market retrace, but 60%. If you look at the Bitcoin USD chart, like the equivalent here, it's like 32K. Is like the resistance here before the breakout. That's wildin'. The grand trend line has definitely broken already on this pair. The grand trend line. The grand line. In search of the One Piece. Who watches One Piece? I can never get into it. I really like the Netflix adaptation. At least I really like it for like a live action. I don't typically like live action. All right. It held here in 2020. Didn't quite hold November of 22 in the previous bear market. Phew. A little bit different of a story, I'd say. This one was wrecked back in November of 25. Like wrecked right after October. I don't know where this chart's going. I mean, it broke all-time highs, so I think you like kind of assume that it doesn't break its previous bear market low. Just down here. But you're out of support, man. Your next support is like another big move down. What's up, poor B? Give me a sec. 23% down. The grand line, my friends. There it is. There it is. There she blows. God, I hope it holds. Stay safe. What's up, Gasper? How you doing? D-low last June, we were going back up to 126 at the 4-year cycle says. I mean, I think that's where we're at. I think that, you know, what I keep saying, I've pretty much said this every day, is we had a brief moment where we looked like the 4-year cycle was going to break, meaning like we were going to continue rallying, maybe go back to all-time highs. There was a brief moment here early May, up at the 200-day moving average. This was a strong approach. It looked strong. Something about mid-May snapped, and that just got thrown out. As long as we are below the 200-day moving average, I think it makes total sense to be looking downward for targets. I know I hate saying it. It even feels dirty to say it. To be looking for lower prices, to not be opening shorts, or not to be opening longs, to be opening shorts, and to be expecting, you know, the bear market bottom to be sometime in Q4 of this year. So the good news is we are almost there. June is the last month of Q2. We're about to be in Q3. And then guess what? There's only one more Q after that, and that's Q4. About to be there, baby. Let me see. This short I've had open forever. You guys know, you've seen this one many times. Still short from 93.3. We talked about this over and over and over again all throughout this time period. Still open, still cooking. Probably just going to leave that one open or let it get stopped back up here. You know what I'll do, actually? I'll finally put a TP on this. I'll put a TP right here, April's high, May. 82.4. I'm going to do that, and then it's going to go to 82.4 and then nuke. I know your tricks, Bitcoin. There we go. There we go. 93.3 is the yearly open. It was a great short. I know some of you took it with me. Bravo. I opened this one last night. Not the best. It's not the best. It's not the most G of shorts, but I did it. I did it. I just realized that like I've opened so many longs since October, and like none of them have worked out. Many of them have been in profit for times, right? But like none of them have worked out. Even if like whatever asset bounced, it just ended up getting stopped out. And I've had this happen. We've gone through these cycles, and there's always a point where I have to just be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna short until my shorts stop working. So I opened here 67.1 last night. It's $10,000.